सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। विविक्तदेशे च सुखासनस्थः
विविक्तदेशे च सुखासनस्थः
विविक्तदेशे च सुखासनस्थः
विविक्तदेशे च सुखासनस्थः
शुचिः समग्रीव शिरः शरीरः
शुचिः समग्रीव शिरः शरीरः
अत्याश्रमस्थः सकलेन्द्रियाणि
अन्याश्रमस्थः सकलेन्द्रियाणि
निरुध्य भक्त्या स्वगुरुं प्रणम्य
निरुध्य भक्त्या स्वगुरुं प्रणम्य
सकलेन्द्रियाणि निरुध्य. Rudh, to stop. Nishchayena ruddhya, having definitely and in a nice way stopped. Sakala indriyani. How can you? Indriyani means what? Sense organs and even organs of actions. Jnanendriyani, karmendriyani cha. Niruddhya. So having stopped the sense organs means what? You have to buy one clip and put on the nose. Yeah. Because in case some good smell is coming from the kitchen during meditation. Huh? No. You don't have to put a clip on the nose. Neither you have to tie one patti, one bandage on the eyes and, close off the ears because somebody is making a sound outside. No. So what does niruddhya mean? We have to see properly. Niruddhya means quietening them down and suspending the activities. And if you see, I've told you this before, if you see people waiting somewhere, in the waiting room of a doctor office or any office, dentist, doctor, airport, and you will be waiting and other people will also be waiting. And then you make sure to observe what they are doing. Yeah. What will they be doing? Niruddhya sakalendriyani, correct? No. No. They will be talking on the phone, they will be reading, and also doctor's office means old magazines from last Janma will be kept. Why I have never understood, They spend so much on the decor, they spend so much on the, everything. But all the magazines will be from last life. Yeah. Very old, everything, And so people, even they cannot stand up, sit quietly. Shows that even this old, tired magazine they'll be reading. Yeah. Even though it's from 6 months ago, they will be still reading that. Others will be talking on the phone. And if it's not allowed to talk on the phone, they will be playing some game on the phone, But this generation, I think that when the people excavate much later, everybody will start having long thumbs. Yeah, that will be the mutation because of all this texting and SMS. These two fingers become so active. The other things are atrophy. This is the only one. Yeah. So they will be texting, they will be talking on the phone, and if nothing they can do, or they'll be talking to each other, they'll get to know other people who are waiting. What's your problem? Did this doctor treat you? That also they'll find out. And then if none of that they are doing, they'll be shaking the leg, sitting and shaking the leg, shaking the hand. Yeah. That shows sakalendriyani, it's not easy to make them quiet. The inner restlessness comes out in the form of movement. Cheshta it is called. And from the Bhagavad Gita we know that to qualify for this knowledge or to qualify for meditation, also in the 6th chapter, Yukta cheshta one has to be. Yuktahara viharasya. Yukta cheshtasya karmasu. Yukta swapnavabodhasya. Yogo bhavati dukkhaha. If you want to, dukkham hanti iti dukkhaha. So if you want a lifestyle that cuts and kills all sorrow, You have to be yukta, means you have to be of moderate consumption. Someone who a moderate consumer of the following: ahara, food, and we've been seeing in the Ayurveda series of lectures the difference between yogi, bhogi, rogi. Yeah, yeah. So ahara yukta means you don't starve yourself and become Mahavira. And when they have images of Mahavira, always this skeleton, the ribs will be out. Yeah. So not like that. And more like Buddha, the moderate middle way. So fasting means not all the time. Eating also doesn't mean all the time. It's like that person. I've told you this before. But I'm inspired now since our doctor is here. This person went to the doctor and said, Doctor, I'm having all these problems. The doctor said, you need to cut down your weight. That is the main thing. You need to control your weight. And then this person said, I don't know how to do that. I really don't know how to do that. I've tried everything. It doesn't go away. You need to have a diet. So, doctor, you only write down, what I should, how, what, all these things you write down. Then, this is like food and all, I don't know what to take. I just keep, I am, sarva bhakshaka. I eat everything. So, you please tell me what to eat. So, the doctor says, well, you can start the day with a cup of non-fat milk and maybe some dry cereal with the milk. Then, can have lunch. Around lunchtime, you can have a couple of chapatis without ghee and some dal or one sabji, one vegetable. Then again, afternoon, you have a cup of milk or tea, non-fat, or you have a cup of tea and 2 crackers or biscuits. Around tea time, you can do that. And then finally, around dinner time, you can have again 1 or 2 chapatis with some vegetables, whatever. And you'd keep doing this. And then the person said, this is very helpful, thank you. But should I have all these things? You said around breakfast, around lunch, around dinner. Should I have this before breakfast or after breakfast? Should I have what you have recommended after lunch or before lunch? This is my doubt. And so like this, this is not yukta hara. Yeah, this is ayukta. And vihara. Vihara means the movement also should be yukta, appropriate movement. Yeah. She didn't understand it was on instead of. She thought in addition to. Yeah. Vihara means movement. Sometimes holiday means people freak out. They want to go out every day. Go out here, go out there, and then come back, and then you need a vacation after the vacation. Yeah. Because you've done too much. This is not yukta. Then yukta cheshta. Cheshta means the hand and legs movement is also appropriate in keeping with what is needed. That's all. Otherwise, if you just use the hands and legs all the time, then nothing is being said. Sometimes people just keep talking like this all the time, what happened and this is what happened, and you get distracted watching them because you don't know what they are saying. And then yukta swapna and avabodha. Enough swapna here means sleep, appropriateness in sleep and waking. This is the remedy Bhagavan Krishna gives for dukkhaha, to become dukkhaha, the one who has killed all sorrow in the relative sense, who prepares for this knowledge. So similarly here, sakalendriyani niruddhya. 5 sense organs, 5 organs of action. Vagadi pancha, and then karmendriyani, those are the karmendriyani, starting with vak, pani, padav, upastha, payu. Vakpani padav, upastha payu. 5 karmendriyani. Speech, hands, legs, organs of reproduction and elimination. 5 organs of action. And then 5 sense organs called jnanendriyas. which we know what they are, sense organs. Nirudhya doesn't mean artificially constricting them, meaning suspending their activities by getting into the place of the witness, which we just did, observing. So one wonderful smell comes in meditation. Somebody is cooking, or some flower is blossoming outside. The normal tendency in the waking state, when identified with the waking state, is to immediately go from the observer of the smell to the enjoyer of the smell. Yeah. So one doesn't become dhyata anymore. One becomes a bhokta of the smell or of the sights. That's why we close the eyes. Or of the hearing. Some temple bells or some bhajan is playing. Immediately you have that vritti of, oh, let me enjoy that. And especially if you know that tune or song, you know what is going to come next. You start anticipating that. And what happens to the observer? Yeah, observer has gone into oblivion. And here is where you keep the observer maintained. You say, yeah, that's a good song. Yes, I know the tune of this song, but right now I have given a job to the mind and I'm going to stay with observing the song rather than enjoying the song or the sights or the sounds. This is what is called sakalendriyani nirudhyatishtati. And then one more very wonderful word is there, atyāśramasthaha. Sthaha tishtati iti sthaha. I told you. Tishtati means stays. Sthaha, the one who stays. Atyāśramasthaha. Ashrama means asamantat shramaha. Shrama means effort. And asamantat shramaha, proper effort. This is called ashrama, proper effort. So when you say, I have joined this ashram or I am going here to this ashram, ashram means a place where one is taught to make the proper effort for inner freedom. That is ashram. And then we have another way in which the word ashrama is used to signify the various stages of life. Also ashrama, because each one is a proper effort towards gaining this self-knowledge. The whole, the Vedic way of life, so beautiful. Everything is to gain this vision of oneness. All the divisions in the society, all the ways in which one can bring, any attention, all the cultural practices, the worship, the food, the tradition, everything is to prepare this body, mind, sense complex to greet the maker within, really. To greet the Ishvara within, to get to know that this Ishvara is not somewhere else, it is right here. It is, in fact, I am this Ishvara. Everything is there. And so the ashramas are a very healthy way of living. They are life stages. First, in the beginning, we have Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya means going to study. And this is true for boys and girls in ancient India, before the religion became very patriarchal. And even Manu, in the Manusmriti says, Striyam maunji karanam ishyate. Even the girls should have Upanayanam, the thread ceremony, and the girls also should go to Gurukulam. He says that. And Panini, one of the greatest grammarian in a different place, laments that the Gurukulas for little girls is on the decline in his age, which was what, 2500 BC. Yeah. And that we hear from another work that he was a great supporter of girls' education. He used to give all his money to the girls' Gurukulas. That is what he was, a patron. We hear that. So the first 5, 6, 7 years, 8 years, the child studies at home. The mother and the father, or the mother is the first guru, the father is the second guru. Then the Upanayanam is done, the thread ceremony introducing the child to the Veda with the Gayatri mantra. And the Gayatri mantra means where one does not ask for wealth, money, etc. One asks for the ability to make the proper choices, really. Tat savituhu varenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyaha naha prachodayat. It's a collective prayer. Naha dhiyaha prachodayat. May I be at the right place at the right time, because it's all about being in the right place at the right time. Somebody said, I did not get the job. Why? I went to the interview. I thought it was at a different place because there were two offices. I didn't know whether it was being held at the branch office or the head office. Finished, gone, didn't show up. Somebody else was given the job, over. So like this, one's own karmas can what's the word for it? Can obstruct being in the right place at the right time. So the child is taught this prayer. And the child is also taught to, many things. And it's actually a covenant between the parents and the child. And the child is taught that you will not sleep during the day. We heard the doctor also say this. And the child says, Badham, okay. Okay, there are certain things the child should do. And the child is kept busy. From the morning to night, the parents will have activities for the child. That this is what you will be studying. This is what you will be doing. These are your prayers. This is what you are going to do. And then what about anger? Play is also important. It's not that it's all, play is very important. What about anger? There also the child is taught. This is part of the prayer. And when that sacred thread is changed there is a day that comes once a year around August. It's called Upakarma. And when that sacred thread is changed, that prayer is again chanted. Kamaha karshit, kamo karshit, manyuhu akarshit, kamah karshit, manyuhu akarshit, kamah karta, nahang karta, kamah karita, nahang karita, kamaya namo namaha. And the child is taught this beautiful thing. You are not the doer. This 8-year-old says, I am not the doer. Anger made me do this. Desire made me do this. Unto this anger which I am helpless about, Namo Namaha. Unto this desire, Namo Namaha. This is how the child in the Vedic culture grows up. It's a very, very healthy way of living. This is called Brahmacharya. The first stage of life, where the focus is on developing the mind through study. It's actually backwards because we have to later on unlearn everything we know. When we come to this knowledge, nothing everything is a preparation, and you have to give up everything you have to give up all the identities. But the truth is, you can only give up when you have, correct? Yeah. You cannot say, I donated all my money. Oh, what? I only have $1 and that I gave away. That is nothing. That is not a person, that is not donation. Donation means when you gave away everything, you have to have something to give away. So here also the identities are cleaned up and given away. But in order to clean up the identity, you have to claim it first. Only after claiming, you can clean it up. Yeah. And when there is nothing here, and then the person comes to Vedanta, then there is a lot of confusion. Because you have to relatively know who you are in order to be able to drop that relative identity and embrace yourself as the absolute. But if there is some confusion about who I am, and if there is not that strong sense of lineage, ancestry, purpose in life, then there is nothing there. One is already feeling alienated, disconnected, and in doubt about what one is. And that person is not going to be able to study. So therefore here the child is given a set of things to do. This is what you are going to do. You are a student. This is your identity. So you have to go and study. This is not the time to go steady, Yeah. There's a big difference. You have to go to study, There's another time for going steady. That is the second ashrama. That is called going steady no matter what. That is not the first ashrama. And that's why the whole society would support the student, because the job of the student is also one job, life. One job stage of life. All you have to do is study, nothing else. The whole society would support the student. And starting with the Upanayanam, where ritually the child begs food from its own mother. Bhavati bhikshan dehi. The mother gives the first bhiksha. The mother starts to see the child differently. Up till now, she was very protective of it. She was like, oh, this is my baby, how to let it go, and all these things. Now the child has a new identity. It is primarily the student, secondarily the son or the daughter. Very beautiful. And so the mother even acknowledges it by saying, you are a student to whom I'm filling your little, jhola, your little bag with some food. And even now in rural areas, you see people from Veda Pathashala and everything, the children, they are very clever. They'll go to the best of houses where the nicest cooking is done. Yeah, they will do that. They will know which auntie cooks well, which auntie is not very, interested in cooking. Perhaps she's just, just she'll make one thing for lunch. It's not a big deal. So I'm going to this one's house because the cook, she's a very good cook. And they feed. Because that is the whole thing. The Brahmachari lives on bhiksha. This is why, because you shouldn't have a sense of entitlement. That this is the room, this is my house, this is this thing. And all this way is just loosened. So your focus is on study, and in order to study, you need a body. And in order to maintain the body, you live on bhiksha. It is talked as bhiksha. So you cannot say, I want more ghee. How come you have given so little ghee? You cannot say whatever comes, you swaha. You are forced to say aha. You cannot say, oh, only this much. You have to say aha. And it develops a temperament of being able to accept the inevitable. The inevitable is in the form of bhiksha, is embodied in the form of bhiksha to symbolize the inevitable, which is karma phala, which is also a bhiksha from God, that is also taken. Whatever comes is taken. It's so beautiful. So as a brahmachari, one is a consumer. Such a wonderful ashrama it is. One is a consumer. One atones for the anger. One atones for the greed. There is a lot of play. Because you see, when you look at the dates of study in the ancient lunar calendar, the dates of study correspond to the full moon, new moon cycles at a time when the mind is fresh. And there is plenty of holidays. Chaturdashi, anadhyayana, no study. Yeah. For 14th day, no study of the moon, waxing or waning. 15th day, no study. Full moon can do funny things to the mind. And so you cannot just sit there and concentrate. You will be distracted. So no study. That day it is gone in play and Gurukula Seva and some little, whatever else needs to be done. Then Ashtami, Navami again, that is all the thing. And then also, if after the full moon or new moon, then the Prathama goes into Dvitiya, that day also Anadhyayana. It's called Yamadvitiya. No, it's not this thing. So you see, every 7th day, you have one day off, and every other weekend is a long weekend. Think about it. So very healthy way to be. Yeah. So after 7 days of studying, Ashtami will come, holiday, and then every other weekend is a long weekend. It's just wonderful. This is a very nice, healthy way to study. Then after that, you graduate from the Gurukula. The teacher says, okay, I have nothing more to teach you. You have studied very well. And then there is an injunction. Acharyaya priyandhanam ahritya prajatantum ma vyavachetsi. The Taittiriya Upanishad says, give Guru Dakshina before marriage. Because the Upanishad knows this fellow very well. After marriage, somebody else will be controlling the funds. So don't wait to give Guru Dakshina. Give Guru Dakshina. Then you take what is called the ritual bath, called Snataha. And Snataha means graduated. And so much so that you take a graduation bath. Yeah. You can do that on the valedictory function day. Yeah, you can take a ritual bath and then come to the valedictory function. And so you take a ritual bath, and after that what happens? You are now in between two āśramas. Two āśramas means 2 stages of life. You have given up the studenthood. You have bathed it off. You have bid goodbye to the Gurukula. And then you're 24 years old because first 12 years you study at home. Then 12 years in the Gurukula. You're 24 years old, and then you're in between two āśramas. This is why every Indian parent gets worried, even now. If the child, the so-called child, the young adult now, finishes the study and is sitting at home, or going to job, they don't like it. They want to get them married because there is an injunction, anāśrami natishtayet. They are correct, actually. Because it's always in between two stages that the difficulties come. Because you don't know who you are. And you don't know what you're supposed to be. Because who you are is based on what you're doing. So there is no occupation. There is no identity. And in between these two identities, you can feel lost. You can feel alienated. And this is the time you can get into all kinds of trouble. That's why they say young and restless. So, young and restless gets into all kinds of trouble and then finished. So, therefore, the parents, say, this is time for you to get married. This is the second āśrama. And how is the marriage done? The horoscopes go on a date in the astrologer's house. People don't date. The horoscopes go on a date. Yeah. They sit side by side and talk to each other in the astrologer, or some elder in the family could be an astrologer, in their house. The horoscopes go on a nice date, and then they will just sit there, talk to each other, see if they can get along, see if they can live with each other. And if they can live with each other, then the astrologer will say, okay, you're cleared to get married. And even in this generation, sometimes, shocking as it is, sometimes people don't see each other until the day of the marriage. We have a couple in Corvallis, and they said, one time I was talking about this, and they said, what is the point in seeing? We have to spend the life together. So why see before and get disappointed or get upset or wish that it was somebody else? Or have an inferiority complex. Oh, how will I live with such a good-looking person? I'm not good-looking. So many complexes can come. So therefore, they left it all to God. And the first time they set eyes on each other was during the marriage ceremony. This is what it was. This is 30 years ago. They tell the story even now. So this is how. This is just 30 years ago. This is not, we are not talking of 100 years ago. Even 30 years ago, this was happening. Probably still is happening in the rural areas. So why the horoscopes? Because the horoscopes are the karmic imprint of the personality and the karmic blueprint of what this person has to undergo in this particular life. What are the lessons? And then the life partner is chosen based on the lessons to be learned. This is beautiful. So really, you don't go to match.com, shadi.com. There are all these sites, You go to bhagavan.com. Yeah. That's the one who decides, because the horoscope is nothing but a look into the order. I'll be speaking more about this, which is the order of karma. And the order of karma is infallible because it is Bhagavan. So it's a karmic blueprint that you see. And when you do that, you are just putting your trust in Bhagavan. Not in the individual raga dveshas which can change all the time. So if you go to shadi.com, match.com, and what are you going to match? Oh, I like this, you like that, I like potato, you like potato, like this. What are you going to match? I like this kind of films where people run around trees, these Bollywood films. And then somebody says, no, I like serious films. Yeah, these serious films are called art films. Art films means if you dare play that in a theatre in the rural areas, people will throw eggs and tomatoes on the screen. They don't like all that. They are farmers and they work very hard and they come to be totally entertained. They don't want real life things on the big screen. If you show that, they will scream. That's all. So some people might say, I like these kinds of serious films. I like these kinds of, flaky films. What good is that going to do? Because the likes and dislikes are changing all the time. So if you put the likes and dislikes in this marriage basket, then you become a basket case. That's all. You become a basket case, totally. Why? because those likes and dislikes are always changing. And whoever you thought, is you never know the person. You never know the person. No matter how long you are with them, you never know. People keep surprising you all the time. So therefore, here this is the second ashrama called Gṛhastha. Grihe tishtati iti Gṛhastha. The one who is available at home. Not the one who builds a big dream house and then to pay it off you have to take up three jobs and then nobody is at home. Yeah, that is not Gṛhastha. The one who is available for the children, that is Gṛhastha. The one who is able to play with the children, the one who is able to raise the family, the one who is available at home for drop-in, for the atithi, the one who comes without a date to drop in. This is Gṛhastha. Now what happens? Everybody builds this dream house. And then there's only two people because, usually the people build the house for the grandchildren to come. Where are the grandchildren? They're not yet incarnated, but that is when they plan and build. Then even when the grandchildren are incarnated, how long will they come? They'll have their own life. 3-4 days they will come. That's it. And so for that, one builds this huge house. And then you cannot sell it because your dream is somebody else's nightmare. Nobody wants to buy that. Very difficult because you have custom made it all for yourself. It's a big headache, problem. And so therefore, the second ashrama is not an ashrama of consumption, but an ashrama of giving. You give dhanam, you do seva, even talents. Tattvam everybody has, which is the expression of Bhagavan inside them. Somebody sings well, somebody cooks well, somebody is good in accounts, somebody else is good in medicine, somebody else is good in surgery. This is how you contribute to help the society with that. Yes, you also make a living, but the point is to contribute. The living becomes secondary. That is your job. You are a contributor. And how many times have we heard Swami Dayanandji, Pujya Swamiji say again and again, grow from being a consumer to a contributor. That is the human growth. And this happens in the second ashrama. As a child, it's always gimme, gimme, gimme. And even, when you're 2, to say gimme, gimme looks cute. And everybody wants to love up the child. Okay, you want this chocolate, take. No, I want the other one. Okay, take. At 92, if this fellow says gimme, 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 yeah, you feel like giving them something else. You have to grow up. You have to grow. This is emotional maturity for which it is very difficult to grow by yourself. That's why you need a partner. So that you grow together to grow up to become contributors. And that can never happen if you're always feeling like I'm in a place of need. And even the neediest person is capable of giving, really. And has to evoke the giver in oneself. That is the purpose of the second ashrama. You forcibly evoke the giver, even if you don't feel like it, even if the body mind, doesn't feel like it. You have to give. Only by giving you grow. This is what the Samaveda tells us. The Samaveda says that Dānena krodhena krodham tara satyena anvritam tara setum stara dustaram setum stara. That bridge which is difficult to cross. How? Dānena adānam tara. Beautiful. And there that's true, you can't give what you don't have, but here you are talking about you. What you are, Satchidananda. That limitless, you have a limitless capacity to give. Nothing can be taken. And how are you going to know that unless you practice giving? The second ashrama is all about putting into practice what has been studied in the first ashrama. In the first ashrama, the child just repeats Dānena Dānam Tara. In the second ashrama, this inner child grows up by actually acting out what one has studied in the first portion of the Veda. In the second ashrama also there are strictures of what to do, what not to do. Nitya karma is their daily duties. How to make the house a home. How to have, how to have what to do. Puja is there, meditation is there, daily duties are there, cooking is there, going to work, cleaning, raising children, all this become part of the daily duties. That have to be done. Occasional duties have to be done. Then there is no time for kamya karma. There is no time to do what you want, because what needs to be done takes over what you want. Oh, that's not a good thing. That's the best thing. Yeah. Because there's no time for the mind to run and say, I want this, and have silly fancies. All fancies are silly, really. And nishiddha karma, things that ought not to be done. Finally, prayashchitta karma. So when I do things that I'm not proud of, I do a karma of atonement. Prayashchitta karma. And then after that, the person becomes puta. Puta means very purified. The ragadveshas settle down, because I'm overriding the ragadveshas with contrary behavior. The ragadvesha says, don't give. I'm giving. The ragadvesha says, I don't like this. I'm doing what is to be done. The ragadvesha says, I want to sit in one place, but I force, it to do what is supposed to be done. And so I transcend all those useless tendencies that bring me down. The ragadvesha says it's a good day to sit and mope. I don't mope. I override that. We are seeing in Panchadashi, Mudha Vritti, Ghora Vrittis, I override. And this is the purpose of the second ashrama. You outgrow the society, you outgrow even the marriage. Then Vani Bhutva, you go to, we have two words for forest. One is a secluded place with a wooded place where you can have a cabin or something like that. That is called Vanam. Then you have Aranyam, where the wild animals live. So Vanaprastha, the third stage, don't go near the wild animals, go to a slightly secluded Vanam. You go to a Vanam. A park is also called Vanam. So you go there and you sit, and then you go there. Both husband and wife go there. They live as friends. They meet some gurus and study this knowledge. Because they have led a life of emotional maturity. And through this life of emotional maturity, they become ready for the knowledge. They are calm enough to gain this knowledge. And then finally that is also dropped off through the ritual called Saṅyāsa, where that little prop to the significant other is also dropped off. And when one of them becomes a sannyasi, the other one is also a sannyasi. It's not that the husband becomes a sannyasi and the wife plans the next marriage. No. Both of them live like sannyasis, whether they take overtly sannyasa or not. That is the idea. And then they enjoy what they have studied. They abide in this knowledge. This is the best retirement plan, sannyasa. Because otherwise you don't know how much money you need. Because money has to be protected from money. It keeps inflating. You have to protect it from itself. How strange. But this is what you have to do with money. How much money is enough money? You don't know. So, but this is the best retirement plan, where you teach yourself not to want anything at all. Whatever comes, you live. Yadrichha labha santushtaha vandvatito vimatsaraha. Yadrichha labha means whatever comes, you're okay. If nothing comes, you're still okay. Because you have trained the body, mind, sense complex to live however Bhagavan is meant for you to live. And in the Brahma Sutra, which is the highest thing that we study at the very end, it says that the jnani is like a dried leaf, has as much volition as the dried leaf. So what does the dried leaf do? Dried leaf doesn't decide. Oh, this tree is trying to chuck me out. I'm going to cling on to the tree. I'm going to go shopping and put some super glue between myself and this branch so that I don't fall. No? I'm afraid of falling. No, it falls, it drops. When it's done from the tree, it drops. The fall season comes, it drops. And then what? Then also it has no desire that I have to join this particular group of the other dried leaf and then have a support group. And then we'll stand in arms against the trees that dropped us. We will have a protest. Occupy yard. There's all these occupy movements here. Last year there was all these things. So occupy the backyard. No. And neither does it say, I don't like this pile of dried leaves, I have to go there. No. It has no wanderlust. Then a gust of wind spins it and it goes and sits there. Okay. Then the gardener comes and blows it and puts it in a sack. Okay. Then it is taken and put in a compost. Okay. Then it becomes the soil. Okay. So like this, the person is this. This is what is called āśramas. Saṅyāsa is beyond, even though it is counted as an āśrama, really speaking, it's counted as the last āśrama, but really speaking, what is that āśrama? Ko vidhihi, ko nishedhaha. There is no do's and don'ts for a sannyasi. Because the person is now incapable of abusing dharma. The person is now incapable of wanting anything. The person has taken a vow of non-competition with all the forces, including, Indras and the Devatas. That nobody, this is what is called abhaya dana. You give the vow of abhaya, fearlessness to all the things that exist in the universe. You say, Indra, you need not be afraid of me. I am not vying for your position over there. And anybody on earth, please do not be afraid of me. All the animals, bugs, insects, please do not be afraid of me. I am not here to eat you. I am not here to bother you. So you are a dropout. So really speaking, what vidhi, what nishedha, what rules, what do's, what don'ts. So the sannyasi is free of identity. And because one knows the true identity. And and if you start saying, oh, I am a sannyasi, that becomes another problem. That's why it's called āśramas. Yeah. Somebody, I was witness to this. Somebody came and complained to Swamiji. I went here and gave some talks. And Swamiji said, how were the talks? Yes, nice, but nobody touched my feet. This was this person's complaint. And Swamiji just said, perhaps that's why Bhagavan sent you there, so that you know that this is not what makes a sannyasi. What makes a sannyasi is not that people are touching your feet. So this is what it is. So even that can become an ego if the person has not studied properly. If the person is not committed to, if the person becomes committed to power and glory, then that is the problem. If the person is not committed to oneself, then this is what happens. And so therefore what? Atyashrami tishthet. Atyashrami bhutva tishtayet means you divest, regardless of which ashrama you are in, before meditation, give up that ashrama. Take a mini sannyasa before the meditation and say, for the next 10 minutes, half an hour, 1 minute, I am not a householder. I am not a daughter. I am not a son. I am not a brother. I am not a sister. I am not mother, father. I am not spouse, partner. I am just a devotee, one with the devoted. And I am doing this meditation to firm this nishtha within, or to prepare myself for the knowledge. I told you it's a sandwich. So before the knowledge, meditation. After the knowledge, meditation. So atyashrami bhutva. So take a mini sannyasa, temporary sannyasa. And when I went to Thailand, this is what I saw, that there is a college where people go to study to become, to get a PhD in Buddhism. There's a Buddhist college run by Swamis. And the interesting thing is, they are given a temporary sannyasa for those 4 years or 3 years they are there. Everyone is in orange. Yeah, I was shocked. I go there and I was shocked. I said, there are people running out of the classroom in orange robes. Students are in orange. Teacher is in orange. The principal is in orange. And the people who are, the support staff, they are all in orange. Completely orange university. Yeah. And then I asked, what is this? Are sannyasi studying here or what? They said, no. There is an enforced sannyasa, but it is seen as a temporary sannyasa for 3 years. So, and I said, how is it different from the other sannyasa? He says exactly the same, but while giving the vows, we say this is just for 3 years. We put it in the sankalpa, in the intentionality, so that the person knows that at the end of 3 years they can continue this life if they are so inclined. Otherwise they can take a ritual bath. See, it's all come from Hinduism only. They can take a ritual bath and then go get married. put their clothes in the river, put the orange clothes in the river. Everyone is in orange. So this enforced sannyasa before study like this is an enforced sannyasa before meditation. Yeah. Tie an orange thread on the finger if it helps before meditating. You can look at that, you say, okay, this is me. Yeah, for the next 1 hour, half an hour, 15 minutes, whatever it is, this is myself alone. Remind yourself. And atyashrami bhutva dhyayet. And atyashramastha sakalendriyani. Okay, now as I promised, we are going to skip the next verse and then go to the last verse and then come back to the next verse, because I told you I'm going to retain a little bit of Vedantic license here. So dhyayet, it said meditate. Meditate upon what? This is another big problem, because a lot of people like meditation. And a lot of people like Buddhism for this reason, because there is no Ishvara. They don't have to deal with Ishvara, and it's a very comfortable situation. Ishvara means, again, I have to look at myself. I have to, watch my own projections. And all authority issues will come up. The ways in which I have been hurt by society by saying this is God being thrust down my throat, that will come up. God loves you, but be careful. All these issues will come up. So sometimes people say, just watch the breath. Just watch the mind. What will happen if you keep just watching the mind? Huh? What will happen? Huh? Yeah, what goes, sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't go. What happens is all kinds of thoughts, the bubbles from the unconscious come up, and you end up getting scared of yourself. Yeah. Then they say, I don't want to meditate because it's very scary. What are you scared of? My own mind. Yeah, because all the thoughts will come, regrets will come, pains and sorrows will come. Kimaham sadhuna karavam, kimaham papamakaravamiti. iti. Why did I do the wrong thing? Why didn't I do the right thing? This is what will come. Yeah. So we bypass all that by giving here an object of meditation. And what is that? Let us read the mantra number 8 for that. Uma sahayam parameshwaram prabhum trilochanam neelakantham prashantam dhyatva, that is enough. Trilochanam neelakantham prashantam. Uma sahayam parameshwaram prabhum. So make Bhagavan the object of your meditation, and that object being non-separate from the subject. That is you. But you don't know that. So you cannot deny Bhagavan. So this Bhagavan, who is manifest as all knowledge, all power, you make that the object of your meditation. That's why we say Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Simply sitting and watching the mind, nothing will come. Yeah. Only doubt, self-doubt and worry will come. And fear. So therefore, the mind is given, this is a very beautiful thing. The mind is given a job to do. Your job is to say, Om Namah Shivaya. That should be one thought. What should be the next thought? Om Namah Shivaya. Third thought, Om Namah Shivaya. Fourth thought, Om Namah Shivaya. But this is boring. That was the fifth thought. So replace that by Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Seventh thought, eighth thought, Om Namah Shivaya. Ninth thought, is anything happening? No. Ninth thought should also be Om Namah Shivaya. You bring the mind back. And you cannot complain that the mind is going away. The mind is supposed to go away. Mind is not dead. Mind is supposed to go all over the place. That's how you can see movement. That's how when you first see this flower pot I showed you, then I show you this pot. What pot is this? Crack pot, because it has lot of cracks. Then I show you crack pot. And then after that I show you, another flower. Correct? Then if all that hasn't gone, you should see one on top of the other, because each one is leaving a residue on the other one. It should be all precarious like this. But it is not. One goes, the other one comes. That's what the job of the mind is, to be alert. Otherwise, all the old residues will just trouble you. So the mind is supposed to go, and you bring it back. You tell the mind what to think. And if what to think, you can also have some meaningless thoughts. Pizza. So you can have, You can keep saying that. But that's not going to free you. Yeah, ice cream, ice cream, ice cream, ice cream, ice cream, ice cream. You can think, and then you're training the mind to see the ice cream, correct? Yeah, you visualize the ice cream and see the ice cream. It's not going to help. Why? Because the ice cream is a finite entity. You are infinite. So focusing on the finite is not going to deliver anything else, except the longing for it is going to become more. But here it's a longing that is really an as though longing, because the seeker is the sought. That's why it works. So it works in both ways. It works as an abhyasa to remind you what this is all about. It also works as a preparation to see what is there to be seen. So meditate upon Bhagavan. But what is this Bhagavan? How to understand this Bhagavan? Where to seek this Bhagavan? And here it is given, Sagunam Brahma. Sagunam Brahma Upasana. That should be the Dhyeya. Dhyeya means object of meditation. Dhyanam, meditation. Dhyata, meditator. Dhyeya, object of meditation. Kim Dhyeyam? Sagunam Brahma. Kim Jneyam? Nirguṇam Brahma. Yeah, this is very subtle. Adi Shankara, all this is. What is to be meditated upon? It is always Sagunam Brahma. It is Brahman in the form of Ishvara. What is it that is to be known? Then you say, I need to know Brahman as myself. Nirgunam, formless, attributeless, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Satchidananda. Very beautiful. But you cannot say, I meditate upon the formless. How are you going to meditate upon the formless? Please tell me. We have time. I'll listen. How are you going to do that? No, I visualize the formless. How? I visualize a formless form. You are constrained to say, so when you have said formless form, it is already formed. And that tells me that one is not informed of what is formless and formed. So you cannot meditate upon the formless. You can only contemplate upon the formless as yourself, really. There's a difference, and we'll be seeing the difference a lot in this Upanishad. So meditation means upon Ishvara. That is got form, and you can do any form. Here it is Parameshwar Shiva is talked about, along with his consort, Uma. Umaya saha vartate. So this Uma is knowledge. Ma means knowledge. Uma is knowledge. So this Bhagavan, which is the maker, along with the knowledge, which is the Jagat, I meditate upon. This is going to be an involved discussion, so I'm going to defer this till tomorrow, because we have only a few minutes left, which would be better spent with question answers, etc. So we'll close here. We'll take this up in the morning. Today at 4 o'clock, Bhagavad Gita. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.